Do you guys like my homeless look? Got the superstar of the channel right there too. When I get my rest days, my off days from the gym, I like to be homeless. And hey, don't be camera shy. What's wrong with you? He's sleepy. All right, guys. Today we're gonna touch more on the news from yesterday, which was that there's gonna be a season expansion for NASCAR 20. Well, this is gonna be very confusing to talk about because I have to say NASCAR 22, but it's not NASCAR 22 because it's NASCAR 21 Ignition. So there's gonna be a 2022 season expansion for NASCAR 21 Ignition. There will not be a brand new NASCAR 22 game that you can buy, but then NASCAR 23 will be released earlier in the year 2023 as they're aiming for mid-year 2023. But yeah, we're gonna talk more about it because I've had a night to sleep on it and a day to reflect. The video from yesterday, which most of you guys have already seen, if you haven't, go check it out, was fresh initial raw reaction. I literally knew about it and I started recording like a minute after. So I kind of skimmed through the article and I was like, okay, this is the gist, and I gave my honest reaction. After sleeping on it, my opinions really haven't changed, but we're gonna touch on essentially, you know, what to expect, what this means, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not going to come from it from the selfish point of view that I was doing yesterday, because yes, you know, I do rely on the game for content, as do most gaming creators when they, you know, they're covering a game. I need the game to work, and I need there to be a game. So yeah, from a selfish point of view, we're not going to touch on it from that. That was mostly yesterday, but I'm not going to touch on that again. I want to give a shout out to the Patreon members who always support the channel. You guys are the absolute best. And let's get into it. I do want to quickly say that, guys, on the channel, do not worry about, like, you know, since there won't be a new NASCAR game, you won't have that new NASCAR content. I have been saving a certain racing game, NASCAR related. It is arguably, you know, the greatest NASCAR game ever made. I understand, you know, NASCAR Thunder 2004 to me is also the greatest console game ever made, but there's your hint. I said greatest game. I did not say greatest console game. So that is coming. I've only ever made one video on it. If you guys can go look at the channel and find it, then you know what it is. I've only ever made one video on it, and that series will be coming a little bit later down the road. But what's going to come down, what's going to come very soon, actually, within the next week or two, is there will be a new series surrounding iRacing. So there will be a new series on the channel surrounding iRacing. I will be getting back on iRacing. I will not be racing online, okay? But there will be a new series around iRacing, so I could kind of mold it and shape it the way I want to, so I'm really excited about that. Okay, so as we take a look at the roadmap, and you can see everything that's coming out: June, September, fall, October, November, December, and then mid-year 2023 console launch. So the main thing to know is that in September 2022, the one thing I did not really touch on yesterday is that it says the 2022 Cup Series regular season schedule will be on the game. Now, that does mean then that there would be some new tracks, I think, would be implemented in the game, because the 2022 schedule is a little bit different than the 2021 schedule. The main track I'm thinking about here is actually Atlanta. So I was wondering if they could maybe get the new version of Atlanta in the game, which is essentially a super speedway. So that was something that was interesting to me. And then also any race dates that are switched around, that would be in the game, along with the next gen car as well. The updated UI and in-race HUD, there's no details on that. In-race HUD could just be to do with the next gen car, and anything that has to be changed with the next gen car compared to the previous gen 6 car. So, you know, there's some different things. And I mean, first of all, the shifting, there's a completely different shifting mechanism in the next gen car. And you know, we don't know what in-race HUD they might use, but honestly, as long as there's a rear view mirror, that's kind of what I want. But since it's still NASCAR 21 Ignition, I don't think that will happen. I just think there'll be some few changes here and there. But that will be the season expansion launch. I'll still play it. I'll let you guys know what I think of it. If it's $20 or $30, I don't see any harm in trying it. But if it's anything more than that, then no. So, yeah, any season expansion launch should only be like $20 maximum, I think. $25 even. And that's really it. So I'll let you guys know what I think about that. I will play that. That will be on the channel. We'll do probably one season. I don't see myself doing 2 seasons of that. We'll do 1 season over there, because also during that time on the channel, I might have 4 different series going on. So there's not going to be a lot of NASCAR 21 Ignition on the channel by the time September comes around. So that's going to be the scenario there. Hi, Sky. How are you doing? Are you stretching? Oh, that's a good boy. You a good boy. You don't like me, do you? Why are you staring at me so intently? Damn. Now, there's 2 sides to this. I was disappointed yesterday, and I still am disappointed. The other side of this is, well, don't make NASCAR 22, which is what they're doing. Don't make it because NASCAR 21 was so bad. So why would you make NASCAR 22 if you can't make it the way you want, and then just make NASCAR 23? That is one of the other, that there's like, there's sides to it. I see that side. I completely see it. And I agree. Yeah, if NASCAR 21 ain't good enough and you can't get what you want in NASCAR 22, then I guess doing the season expansion is fine. My only thing is that's like, a lot of people, I know Danny mentioned this, a lot of people mentioned WWE 2K and how they were really struggling. We all love, well, not everyone, but growing up, the WWE games were very prominent and really cool. And then 2K took over, and they kind of just mingered along, and then WWE 2K20 came out, and that game was horrible. You think NASCAR 21 was bad? Try WWE 2K20. They were just as equally bad and buggy. I think WWE was actually more buggy. So yeah, they were really, really bad. And then 2K made the decision to not make WWE 2K21. They took a skip year. They worked on 2K22. 2K22 came out, and it was received pretty well. It's not perfect. There's still some, it was received as a solid 7 or 8 out of 10 game. That's what WWE 2K22 was received as. But the reason why a lot of fans of that series were so happy is because obviously 2K20 was abysmal. Like you don't see any light at the end of the tunnel. You're like, what the heck's going on here? And you don't think like they can never fix it. So they take a leap year, and then you get 2K22, and it's good. Like the gameplay is actually really good, and the base of the game's really good, but they still need to add some features here and there. That was the comparison a lot of people were making, and I agree with that. It's just that motorsport games hasn't, like, so that's what 2K, we know 2K, we know Take-Two Interactive, we know that they make a ton of games, they're a huge company, yada yada yada. Motorsport Games has only made 1 game. They've only made NASCAR 21 Ignition. So my point here is that the trust factor in them to actually put out the product that is necessary is not very high at the moment, right? So, and I'm not even going to touch on all the other stuff, like the financial stuff and all those things. Guys, I don't have any, sources. I don't know anything. I'm not even an expert in those types of things. I just play the game, and I'm not going to waste my time dealing with that kind of stuff. If you guys want to go ahead and do it, go ahead. I'm not going to waste my time thinking motorsport games might go under. They might not. I don't know, but I don't really care. I'm being completely honest with you guys. I don't care. I do not. I just want to play the good games, okay? So that's my focus right now. So, let's say everything goes to plan as this roadmap. Would skipping NASCAR 22 and instead going to NASCAR 23 in the mid-year with hopefully a much better game be a better idea than just releasing NASCAR 22 with what would have been probably, how many changes could they have made? I don't know. Probably the AI would have still sucked. And I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. We don't know what it would have been like. So yes, after sleeping on it, I can see that. I can definitely see why that would be the right way to go, why they did it, and why a lot of you guys are actually pleased about it. Because it's not, for you guys, it's not really that big of a deal. It's not like, you don't need every year a new game, right? In my situation, it's just a little bit different because I need the content, right? So I need the new game for the content purposes. But for you guys, and even for me, okay, so for perfect example, I love playing the golf games, right? And so EA Sports, their new golf game got delayed a year. I didn't, I wasn't like, oh man, it got delayed a year, like I wasn't like that. I was like, okay, it got delayed a year, fine, a delayed game is never a worse game. That statement's true. It can be a bad game. It still can be a bad game, but a delayed game is never a worse game. So when it came to that golf game, I was like, oh, okay, I'll wait a year. That's completely okay. Whenever, Spider-Man or even when Cyberpunk got delayed, or the Harry Potter game, the new Harry Potter game got delayed, or God of War got delayed, I don't really get disappointed. I'm like, okay, you know, you need more time, you get more time. The reason why I was disappointed here is because this one really directly affects me. Like, this is my full-time job, YouTube, and I have to rely on the game. So when the game gets unexpectedly delayed, and then there's just not a game, that one just hurts a little bit more for me. So that was why I made that reaction. But for you guys, who, you know, you guys don't need the content, right? You don't need NASCAR 22. You might want NASCAR 22. You don't need it. Just like how I don't need a PGA Tour golf game from EA Sports in 2022. I can wait till 2023, which is what's happening. It's the same exact scenario. And I think for the whole community, it's probably good just to get away. I mean, just let them do whatever they have to do. Don't play NASCAR 21 Ignition for you guys. I'm still going to play it. I got to finish out my career. I'm going to play the season expansion launch, obviously, to let you guys know how it is. But you guys can get away and just, you know, let them work on it. And then hopefully NASCAR 23 comes out and it's decent or good. You know, I'm like a WWE 2K22 level type of game. Because this company at the moment just has no trust in the community. And you guys should not trust them. I don't trust them. You don't trust them. You know, that's kind of how it is. And there's nothing they can say. The only thing they can say is, you know, we'll speak on our future products. And that future product is not, you know, coming until 2023. I know there's a season expansion launch, but it's not a future product. It's just some additional things onto NASCAR 21 Ignition. So we won't know what they do or what they'll be until, you know, mid-year 2023. So all the trash talking on Motorsport Games will keep happening until 2023, and no one's gonna stop it. It's just how it is, because they haven't released anything that can earn your trust, essentially. That's kind of the situation. In the fall of 2022, you have the Nintendo Switch launch, and that'll be really interesting just to see if it's a different game. I'll be honest, if it's a different game, if it's like not using Unity engine and it's just different physics and stuff, maybe I'll try it just to see what they're doing there. But I don't know. I'll see how that goes, and then the DLCs kind of speak for themselves. In the article, they do say that the base of the game will be ripped up, and that it's going to be Kartcraft and rFactor 2 development that's kind of going into NASCAR 23. Essentially, what they're trying to do is they're just trying to get everything that they have to run under the same coding. That's essentially what they're trying to do. So the IndyCar game in the future, whenever that comes, which I would not expect that in 2023. I'd expect that in 2024. I would expect that to be delayed. So that game would be running on the same coding as the NASCAR game, and then the NASCAR game would be under the same coding as rFactor 2, and rFactor 2 would be under the same coding as Kartcraft, and on and on and on. That's essentially what they're trying to do. But as long as the NASCAR game is on the Unreal Engine, as they say, then that's cool with me. I'll be 100% honest. The base of NASCAR 21 Ignition, if you ignore the bugs, the actual driving is not bad. It's pretty decent. But I guess what they mean by the base is probably all the issues around it. And so that's why they're ripping it up. I'm going to have to play Kartcraft and rFactor 2 a lot, just to see what I could get a feel for. rFactor 2's physics are really good, but they're oval AI, which that game's not made for ovals, but their oval AI is not good. It's really bad. So I wonder what they're trying to do in order to get the game better, but I'm okay with it, you know? Like, if you guys see it's not working, if you don't think you can build on NASCAR 21 Ignition, even though you didn't want to build on NASCAR Heat and you put it on NASCAR 21 Ignition and you gotta redo it again, fine. But like I've been saying, as long as the game it just doesn't flop again, and like it's not a disappointment, that will be the payoff. But until that payoff, I mean, kind of just sit around and wait and see what happens. My dog's getting pissed off because I'm talking so much. He's just trying to sleep. He's just giving me the death eyes. Yeah, guys, overall, man, it's just a really weird scenario. You know, it's definitely really weird. Because Motorsport Games just essentially, they won't have a new game until 2023. I thought BTCC was coming this year. It's probably not coming. The good news is, though, in terms of racing, there's a lot of things that are coming out. You have F1 coming out in July. Am I happy about EA Sports taking control over it? No, but that you have F1 coming out. I could add furniture into my showroom, because that's what I want to do in a racing game. Thank you so much, EA Sports. Really appreciate that. But Codemasters is still in control of that. It will be on a new engine, so I don't know. It could be buggy because it's going to be the first time on the Unreal Engine, so we'll see how that goes. You have iRacing's first console game coming, along with Monster Games. That's the World of Outlaws game. That's coming, I think they said, sometime later this year, late 2022. So that game's coming, and so I'll be very interested to see that, because I just want to see what iRacing can do in the console space. That will still be Monster Games developing, but they have iRacing working with them, and I'm very, very interested to see what iRacing can do in the console space. So that's coming late 2022, and then we'll have, apparently it should be, Motorsport games coming out in 2023 with the new NASCAR game, along with the season expansion that will be going on in 2022. So there's still a lot to do, and there's still a lot to play in terms of the racing side. Obviously, I'll be doing some iRacing as well, along with the certain, best NASCAR game of all time coming out on the series later this year as well. So I'm still gonna have a lot of content. I'm still gonna have a lot of fun. And I don't mind just waiting, just to see what happens. Again, I'm not going to touch on all the other stuff that you guys always tell me to touch on. It's not all you guys. Some of you guys tell me to touch on and speak about. I don't care. I don't care. Whatever happens, happens. I genuinely do not care about all the business side of things, financial side of things. I don't care. I just want a good game. That's it. So if you guys want to get mad at me for that, get mad. I genuinely don't care. If you're getting angry, if you are a grown adult and getting angry over video games, you gotta rethink your life, man. You gotta rethink your life. There's more important things. So I have a ton of things to get me through, but I'm gonna end it this way. They keep saying that they will their talk will happen via their future products. This NASCAR 23 product has to be at the very, very least a decent game. I'm talking what was a decent NASCAR game in the last decade? I'm talking NASCAR Heat 4. Now I'm talking NASCAR Heat 4 level. NASCAR Heat 4 was a decent I would say that's a good. NASCAR Heat 4 was a good NASCAR game. 7 out of 10. I really liked it. It was a good, decent NASCAR game. Was it on the Unity engine? Did I not like the physics? Yes and yes. AI were pretty good. So, that was a decent game. If it's another NASCAR the Game 2011, if you guys remember how bad that was, which was Technic's first game. If it's another NASCAR 21 Ignition, if it's another NASCAR 08 on the PS3 and Xbox 360, if it's one of those, which, funny enough, each of those games were the first game on a new platform. If it's one of those, I mean, that's it. That's it. Like, there's nothing else. But if it's a decent game in 2023, I think then people will be okay with it, and we'll see how it goes. But the whole point here is we just don't know. There's no point in complaining. There's no point in yelling. You literally just got to sit back. There's going to be a ton of other games coming out, like I just said, that we can play, and then hopefully they do something. I'll let you guys know what the season expansion is like. As long as that season expansion comes out and it's just not buggy, man. Let me just play the next gen car or drive the next gen car. I understand the AI will probably be trash, but as long as it's not buggy, that's fine. Like, that is fine. I'll play that in September 2022. We'll see how that goes, because I'd really like to see how can I race at Kansas, how can I race at Atlanta, Texas, Las Vegas, Charlotte with the next gen car and have the horsepower back and not have to run full throttle, basically pussyfooting it around the car with the 550 horsepower package. That will be nice. I like to see how that works. I'm gonna end it there, guys. Let me know what you think. This is gonna be my last video on Motorsport games for a while. I think we don't need to talk about it essentially until July when the patch comes out. So that will be, we'll hop back on the Motorsport game stuff when that comes. NASCAR 21 Ignition, we'll still be playing that. I still gotta win a championship on that game, which is still gonna be incredibly hard knowing how difficult Phoenix is. So I don't really know. I'm gonna need like assist or something to win a championship from there. Comment down below. I'm sorry I've been rambling on for a little bit. Let me know what you guys think. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your day. I will see you guys tomorrow. And he's really ticked off at me. He really wants to go to sleep. Take care of yourselves. Peace out.